Hello everyone, my name is Arturo Rivar and this is my presentation on the US debt. To get a good understanding of what debt is and what we're going to be speaking on today is we need to find out what is debt. And here it is. Debt is when one party borrows from another party for a certain period of time and should expect to be paid back in full. Usually loans like these would come with an agreement in which the lending party will receive a service or something in return like interest for providing such loan. These types of loans are offered when the price of an item or service is too big that some may not be able to afford and have to ask for some assistance, thus bringing themselves into debt. Another question we may ask ourselves is what is the size of the US's debt? As of February of 2022, the United States debt has risen to 30.29 trillion US dollars, an almost quadruple price since the start of the majority of the rise in the 2000s. Most of this debt is also known to be from foreign countries, such as its two biggest contributors, China and Japan. China, which holds 1.060 trillion worth of debt, and Japan at number 1 with $1.3 trillion worth of debt. To better understand what has led the US to such an amount of debt, we must understand what makes up this debt. In this graph, you can see throughout the years from the start of 2005 to 2022 how the federal government debt has grown. The light red showing the intergovernmental holdings, and the dark, almost maroon red, is the debt that's held by the public. We also ask ourselves, what type of debt is it? When talking about the United States national debt, we must divide this amount into the two categories that make up this debt to get a better understanding. These two would be intergovernmental spending debt and publicly held debt. First is intergovernmental spending debt. As of February of this year, intergovernmental spending holds almost $6 trillion worth of debt. This amount of money is the money that the government owes another part of its branches, money that's held in things such as trust funds and Social Security trust funds. Publicly held debt is holding more than $22 trillion worth of the national debt. Public debt is mostly made up of brokers and dealers, government-sponsored enterprises, estates and non-corporate businesses, treasury bills, notes and bonds, the Federal Reserve, and foreign governments. These two categories are where the amount that keeps being spent will fall upon. In this graph, you can see the amount of money that is being held by each of them: foreign holdings, domestic holdings, and Federal Reserve holdings. Domestic holdings holding the most, with state and local pensions and insurance companies, private pensions, state and local governments, depository institutions, households and other investors, and mutual funds. What is the debt ceiling? When speaking on the U.S. national debt, many begin to wonder what to do and how to solve this. What will happen and its consequences? This is where the debt ceiling comes in. The debt ceiling is the amount of money the U.S. is authorized to spend on its own. Things such as tax refunds, Social Securities, and its other necessities. The United States has been known to raise the debt ceiling in the past, and it has truly helped. As failing to raise the debt ceiling, many speculate it could cause an economic disaster to this nation. And graph is sort of outdated, stopping at the 2010 when Obama was president. It shows the national debt and the increases on the debt ceiling. It shows from the 1980s to 2010 how, since President Carter all the way to Obama, has shown an increase in the national debt and the debt limit. And you notice how the debt limit is always staying above the national debt because, like I said before, they've never let the national debt surpass the debt limit. Debt and its effect on the economy. Debt in any aspect of life is terrible, and we know that. Debt will destroy anything in its path, and the economy is not immune to that. As debt continues to grow, more and more we will continue to see the effects on our economy. To name a few, a growing debt makes it difficult to receive a good interest rate, thus making it almost nearly impossible for families to get things such as homes, automobiles, and applying for college loans due to the rise. It has also been found that the growing debt could push off private investing in capital goods, meaning less material to work with. Less material leads to less productivity, hence causing less wages. A ripple effect due to the growing debt. And in this graph, you can see the net interest costs that are projected to rise sharply. Going from 2009 to 2029, you can see how it goes from 200 billion to almost the top of the graph to 900 billion by 2029. And these are my references for my presentation, and thank you for listening.